Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first video on DCU Legacy. This is the first full-length video I've done on this channel. I got very stuck in the rut of making shorts. I'm still going to continue to make shorts. I've got a mini-series that I've just started called Justice vs. Avenging, where I basically do multiverse battles if you haven't already seen those. But let's not talk about shorts any further. The first video on my channel, what I want in a DCU Justice League movie. So, as the title suggests, we're going to be going through what I would like to see in a Justice League movie in the new DCU. As yes, I've got used to doing the 60 seconds of talking, but most people that know me know that I could talk about this stuff for a very, very long time. Now, I'm not going to waste too much time over-explaining what this video is going to be about. I feel like the title covers that exactly. So, we're just going to get straight into it, and the first topic that I'd like to cover is setup is needed. Now, I feel like this is common knowledge, not only for a movie franchise universe, but just for any sort of movie that's introducing new characters or new interpretations of characters to a new audience. Now, I feel like James Gunn's going in this sort of way anyway, but what I would like to see for setup first is we need Trinity movies, but we need the solos. We need a Superman solo movie, which we'll be getting next year, 2025, in Superman, with David Cornsweet starring as Superman. We also need a Wonder Woman and a Batman solo movie. Now, the Batman movie has been confirmed, and it's obviously going to have Robin in it, but that's fine. But we are yet to hear about a Wonder Woman movie being confirmed. I do think in the next year or so, hopefully in the next couple of months, we will hear a confirmation about this one. But before we do, maybe I'd just like to describe a few things that I'd like to see in all of these movies in order to really set up the Justice League movie in the coming years. What I would like to see in Batman and Wonder Woman, the same as they are in Superman, I would like to see other cast members announced and introduced. Now, what I mean by that, of course, is the same as Mr. Terrific and Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl and Metamorpho being announced to be in Superman. I would like to see in other characters that are going to be in this interpretation of the League. In the Batman and Wonder Woman movie, I feel like Batman could introduce the Flash and potentially Jon Stewart. And Wonder Woman could easily introduce Aquaman. They're both from magical lands in the DCU. And again, just like we've been told about the Superman movie, none of these have to be major cameos. I'm not expecting the Flash to spend 45 minutes of the Batman movie with Bruce Wayne. I just want to see a little pop-up, a little heads up. Maybe just to get the casting out. And also, just because I'm saying that these characters are going to cameo in other films doesn't mean I don't want them to have a project of their own. Now, obviously that does depend on time-wise for some of these characters, like Aquaman and Flash. It may be way too soon to give them another movie, but depending on that time that they do get released, potentially we could do a limited animated series, or a movie if everybody is calling for it at the time, but at least a tie-in comic, as James Gunn did say that he wants the comics to also tie into the larger universe that is the DCU. And now this is just a little idea that I think is quite cool, and this is what I would like to see. I would like to see Martian Manhunter kind of play a role like he did in the Zack Snyder trilogy. I want him to pop up here and there, but it's always a different character. And the only person that knows that it's Martian Manhunter is us, the audience. And I'd also like him to kind of be the reason that the League formed in the first place. Now, I don't know if that would be covered to the point where they all find out and maybe they feel a little bit betrayed and spied upon. But then, of course, we'd probably get Bruce Wayne admit that he knew the whole time because he is Batman. Or maybe the League never find out and Martian Manhunter's secret is kept between him and still Bruce Wayne, of course. Now, also, depending on the type of Bruce Wayne that they go for, I think Bruce Wayne would have no part in the League. Now, as James Gunn has said multiple times, this DCU is a living world. Some of these heroes have been existing for many years. And Batman is clearly going to be one of those. He's already onto the Damian Wayne Robin. Now, as this is going to be an older Batman that has already been a superhero for a little while, I think it'd be kind of cool if he at first didn't actually want anything to do with the Justice League. He's been operating so long on his own that he just feels like the rest of the Leaguers want to keep him in check, as they've heard about the Gotham Knight, the vigilante that strikes fear into the heart of every villain that he crosses. Maybe we get a little scene where Wonder Woman and Superman approach Batman and they try to convince him to join. And maybe they can tell him that they all agree that he is the only one fit and with the experience to really lead a team. Being at this point, he's probably got a very large Bat family that he has trained and raised. But I think it'd kind of be cool if Batman accepted it, but not in the traditional sense. More in a way of him saying, I'll do it, but on my own terms, in my own way, from the shadows. Or maybe he turns to Clark and says, you are the face and embodiment of the League. The world trusts you. They trust you, while gesturing to the rest of the team. And they trust this. And he points to the crest. Because Batman's whole thing is he's made this persona for himself that is feared. So to turn around and suddenly be the face of a global team that are supposed to spread justice and probably not fear into people's hearts would be kind of weird. And Batman knows this is of his own doing, but he respects that, and it's kind of working for him, especially when he's on the mean streets of Gotham fighting down serial killer clowns. Now in this next segment I'd like to talk about the team, and for most films the teams do fall into certain categories or stereotypes of what their characters are meant to fulfill throughout the film. Now, at first, I'm going to tell you who I want on the team, and then I'm going to tell you their purpose. Now, of course, we got to start with Batman, Bruce Wayne, Superman, Clark Kent, Wonder Woman, Diana Prince, Arthur Curry, Aquaman, John Jones as Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, John Stewart, and of course, Hawkgirl, Shiara Hull. And then I'm in two minds about the Flash. I don't know if I want to see Barry Allen again, or if I want to see Wally West on the big screen in the Justice League. Now, I love Barry Allen and I love Wally West, but if I was being completely honest, I think we should keep it as Barry Allen. I know a lot of fans probably aren't going to be too happy about that, but I want to see Wally and Dick's relationship. I don't want to see Wally in the Justice League, and he's kind of separate from the Titans. And I think that is truly probably what would happen if we did have Wally in the Justice League. But who knows? James Gunn might prove me wrong. He might give us Wally West, and he still might give us his Titans backstory. Now, besides from the fact that I want Barry Allen, a lot of you are going to see that this is very reminiscent of the Justice League animated cartoon. And I've done that for many reasons. Main two reasons, though, are the Justice League cartoon is just key. And James Gunn has said it himself that it is an inspiration of his universe. But beyond that, it's got that humble corniness to it, and that's what I really think DC need to focus on. But more of that on a different video. Now, as I said, I'm also going to talk about the purposes of each member and why I think they would be brought to the team. So for starters, we have Batman. He is the leader, as I said, and that is what I'd like to see. I think he is the tactician, he is the trainer. He is the guy who's going to work on all the missions. He's going to know all the background information that everybody needs to know. He's got the funding, of course, he's rich as hell. Then we have Superman and Wonder Woman, the two powerhouses of the League. Obviously, Martian Manhunter would be one of those two, but in this film, I think he plays a more key role. Now, I've got Flash, Aquaman, and Green Lantern as what I would call the stretch. The reason I call them the stretch is because they are able to reach other places that the Trinity maybe can't. We've got the Flash, who can reach around the world in a matter of seconds, so that's really a no-brainer. And then we've got Aquaman, whose location is obviously the Seven Seas. Now, he covers the whole basis of the ocean. He can talk to all sea life, and he can reach out to all Atlanteans. Finally, Green Lantern. Now, he can obviously stretch the whole galaxy. He is the space cop, after all. And then, as I said, I was going to get back to Martian Manhunter. For me, Martian Manhunter is not only going to be the veteran role, I think he's going to be the heart and soul of the team, because yes, he is obviously thousands of years old, but he's also new to Earth, which means he's kind of like the audience's window into the Justice League. And finally, as I mentioned, Hawkgirl. Now, I think Hawkgirl is the rookie of the team. I think when we see her in Superman, she is going to be just starting her career. Maybe she's just been reached out to, depending on which version they go for. Obviously, it could be the alien version, but it could just be the Egyptian princess reincarnation, and obviously this could be a new life for her too. Now, she's not new to Earth like Martian Manhunter. She's not oblivious to Earth customs, but she is new to crime fighting. I think it'd be kind of cool if they didn't originally have her on the team, and Diana made a little comment about there not being enough women in the League. And maybe Clark smiles to himself and says something like, I have a suggestion, a real warrior type. Diana, you're going to love her. And then enter Hawkgirl. And I truly do think Diana and Hawkgirl would hit it off so well. It just makes sense. They're both warrior types. I think there's a lot of room to have fun with that setup, and I'd just like to see how it's handled. But that is my take on it. Hey guys, thanks again for tuning in for the first full video on this channel. As I said earlier in the video, I can talk about this topic for a very long time. So instead of releasing an hour-long video for my first video, I thought I'd split it into 3 parts. You should be receiving the next 2 parts within the next couple of weeks. But again, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video.